Hello everyone, I'm Tim Tuller, Canon for Music at St. John's Cathedral, with a couple of words about the music for this Sunday, the 16th of March. This is now the second Sunday in Lent, so all of our music and readings will be based obviously on Lenten themes. And the prelude and postlude this Sunday are both examples of chorale preludes. Now, I've talked about chorale preludes before in these videos, and they're a very common genre for organists, especially in church services. And they're basically any composition that is based on a hymn tune. And a hymn tune and a chorale are more or less interchangeable terms. Chorales and hymn tunes, we just use, depending on the denomination and the time period we're talking about, they really refer to basically the same thing. Now, the opening chorale prelude is based on a German tune, O Traurigkeit, O Herzeleid, which is German for basically, O sadness, O heart sorrow. And Brahms actually crafts this into a prelude and fugue, which was a genre popularized by J.S. Bach generations earlier, and who Brahms greatly admired. And in his own organ music, he used J.S. Bach as a prime inspiration. Now, Brahms was not an organist himself. However, he did write a few organ pieces. Early on in his career, he wrote a couple organ pieces, and interestingly, late in life, he wrote a few more organ pieces. So they come to the very beginning and very end of his career, he wrote some organ pieces, although he himself was not an organist. This particular chorale is obviously very Lenten flavored. The first part, you'll hear the melody played in the right hand in a simple tune, accompanied by a light left-handed pedal, and then there's a little fugue on the same subject. Our offertory anthem this Sunday is entitled, If the Lord Had Not Helped Me, by Edward Bairstow. Bairstow is one of the greatest Anglican composers of sacred music in the early to mid-20th century. He was the organist choir director at York Minster, among other places. Interestingly, in the early 1900s, he was invited to come to America to start the choir school at St. Thomas Church in New York City, which became St. Thomas Fifth Avenue. And he said he'd rather go to the devil than go to America. He wasn't very fond on this country, unfortunately. And that job eventually went to T. Tertius Noble, his fellow English countryman, who came and founded the choir school. However, Bairstow's music is absolutely wonderful. This is one of my very favorite anthems to bring out during Lent. It's a wonderfully composed piece and really brings out the meaning of the text. Our postlude is another short choral prelude by J.S. Bach, and the German title is Christ der uns selig macht, or Christ who makes us blessed, is kind of the clunky English translation. And it's based on a hymn tune that certainly Americans and Anglicans of the modern age would not be familiar with, but which would have been known in the Lutheran churches of Bach's time. It comes from the Orgelbüchlein, which means little organ book. It was actually one of the few collections of Bach's organ music that was published during his lifetime. And it's a series of choral preludes that basically cycle through the church year. So each season has its own specific set of choral preludes. And this, of course, comes from the Lenten section. The work was supposed to be much bigger than it turned out to be. Bach kind of didn't complete it in the way he thought he would, but it's still a very important collection of pieces. And they're very useful, although they are very, very short. They're only about usually 1 to 2 pages long. I hope you enjoy the music this Sunday.